All right, welcome everyone. Good evening, my name is Anthony Manta. I'm the Associate Director of the Nanovic Institute for European Studies. I hope you all came from Ellen Rozon's introduction to L'Incarnazione di Popea across the hall there in this De Bartolo Performing Arts Center, which the Nanovic Institute was also very pleased to support. But you're welcome here regardless of your origins, needless to say.
Thank you.
As you know, tonight's film is the last film in this semester's series of European films. The 13th series. All of these films have, coincidentally, given that this is the year of the woman at Notre Dame, been directed by women. And so we've had films by Cleo Barnott, Sophie Fiennes, Claire Denis, and tonight, Diane Kurys. For the series, we've had many people to thank. Chief among them, Jim McAdams, the director of the Nanovic Institute, Ted Barron here at De Bartolo, Kevin Grismanich up in the projection booth, Kate Marshall, Joelle McSweeney, who have helped us to introduce films, as we do in front of each one, the Nanovic Film Committee, and of course our wonderful Nanovic staff. So join us next semester too, when we're going to show a series of films to celebrate, although that's not quite the right word, the centenary of 1914. So all of the films will be a kind of harrowing exploration of World War I through films both old and new. The cinematic exploration of history and its disruptions, though, is very familiar to our guest tonight. Diane Kurys was born in Lyon in 1948, the younger of two sisters. She started her career in Paris as an actress in the theater, a job she found apparently too restrictive. So she turned to writing and directing instead, and has wonderful stories about the origins of that enterprise. That started in 1977, and her first film, Diablo Menthe, which is known in English as Peppermint Soda, was a huge success in France, second only in box office receipts to a film that you may have heard of that came out that year called Star Wars. This is important because we should remember that in the 70s was the time in France when French women film directors such as Chantal Akerman, Marie Dura, Yannick Bellon, Agnès Varda, Colleen Serrault just started to break into filmmaking in greater numbers. And they were the kind of pioneer generation. This is after May 1968. So Diane herself has worked with great actresses of the time, Isabelle Huppert, Sylvie Testud, and the nature of her work really indicates a deep attraction to history, to diaries, to old photographs, family secrets, the duties and loves of these families, and desires, both male and female, and particularly the admixture of all of these things. She comes to these interests very honestly. Her parents, both Jewish, were born in the USSR, and her father, a lifelong communist, was also a French foreign legionnaire. He was put in a Vichy detention camp, where he had to be married in order to be saved. He and his wife later divorced, and Diane then spent a year in an Israeli kibbutz. In 1966, with someone whom you might be familiar with, being European film aficionados, Alexandre Arcady of Alexandre Films. She returned to France to study literature at the Sorbonne in 1968. She got into acting, writing, and then filmmaking, and here we are. At some point, she discovered that her father had a brother, and then, well, much of the story is lost, but what might be lost in reality may be found or perhaps even forged in art. And so tonight we'll see a beautiful and unsentimental version of that art. So please join me in welcoming the very talented, wonderful personality, Diane Kurys.
Thank you to be here. Thank you. Thanks to the Nanovic Institute to have invited me and my film. This is the American premiere, you know. And I'm very happy to be here. Very excited to get the first American reactions to this movie. I don't know if you're like me, but I hate when people tell me about a movie before I go see it. I don't read reviews, not only mine. But I love to discover. I love to not know anything. Just take me, blindly. I don't want to. So I'm not going to spoil the story at all. I'm just going to see you afterwards. Just one thing. It's a very personal film, and I hope it's going to be personal for a lot of you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.